Armed with a firearm, I'm not an advocate, nor should you be. Surprise, stay with me and I'll explain why. It's time to join the security revolution. It starts with untraining the wrong, which is basically everything you've been taught about what keeps you secure, and start training the right, or what truly does keep you secure. Keep in mind that security means much more than just physical harm or death. It's about protecting your happiness and way of life. And it's about protecting your assets or keeping and growing what you've worked so hard for, whether you're an organization or individual with a family. Your life can be turned upside down, turned from good to bad in fractions of a second, even if you haven't been physically harmed. Before I get into this, let me say this. I'm not against guns in any way. In fact, I'm a gun collector, avid shooter, and I was even a gun collector or dealer. I love guns and I'm not even against carrying them and using them for personal defense, but only after making an educated decision to do so, after understanding all of the risks that go with it, and only after achieving proficiency in use and decision making. So here's my impact statement. You don't need a gun to stop a gun in most cases. Now, here's why I'm not an advocate of most people, 99% not carrying or having firearms for personal protection, because there are very, very, very few who are qualified to carry one with complete responsibility. And I mean very, very few. You see, qualified doesn't mean going to the range and impressing people around you who don't understand what impressive with a firearm really is. What it's not, bringing your bag full of equipment to the range, setting it down, unpacking and laying everything out neatly, putting your target out to the exact spot that you're required to shoot well and comfortably, and then putting your hearing protection on, getting into your shooting stance, and then quickly pulling the trigger, sending 10 to 20 rounds downrange into a really impressive small area of your target. And you feel so good knowing that those around you are highly impressed. Now, here's reality. Anyone can do that with some practice and under such ideal conditions. It's really not impressive at all. The question is, can you do that when your heart rate's 175 plus beats per minute, or when your heart rate is elevated and you're moving, or when your heart rate is elevated and you and your threat are both moving? The answer is an emphatic no. And the more critical question is, can you make good decisions under such circumstances? Because if you make a bad or errant decision and someone who should not get hurt does get hurt, you will be held responsible whether it was well-meaning or not. And let me go a huge step further with an example. How many of you have ever heard the guy or gal who talks like this? If someone comes into my house or into my workplace or into my home or messes with my kids, this is what I'm going to do. And you look at this person and think, they sounded look pretty tough. And as a result, you fully believe that they can and will do what they're saying. The problem, that person's never been tested. They've never been in a circumstance where someone was trying to hurt them, or they could potentially lose their lives or be severely injured. And then when they are tested, where are they? Nowhere to be found. And I know this to be fact from experience. My point is, we all think we'll be capable of doing things under dangerous and chaotic circumstances, but don't be so sure unless you know for a fact that you'll be able to react through real life experiences and circumstances, again, because you've actually done it. In fact, assume you won't be capable and do everything you can to ensure that you will have the best chance if you ever need to. You see, proficiency with firearms is about much more than good range shooting. It's about making good decisions when in severe danger. Most people, and I mean most, can't do this effectively. And finally, proficiency with firearms is highly, highly perishable skill. If you don't shoot regularly, like weekly at minimum, you will lose your skills. Do you know how many people buy and carry guns for protection and never shoot? Or only shoot when they first get the firearm, or even take a class and then nothing thereafter. Or they only shoot once or twice a year. It's absolutely irresponsible. And if you're one of these people and can't commit to developing and maintaining the proper skills, please don't carry a firearm. And I don't care if you're a former law enforcement or military. The skills are just as perishable for you as they are for anyone else. Now, I'm not saying I'm against firearms for protection at all. I'm saying that there's a lot that goes with it, and unless you're committed to gaining real proficiency and maintaining it, it's just not a good idea because, again, a bad or errant decision with a firearm can ruin your life forever. Oh, and one more thing. Do you know how many times I hear people say you don't need to be able to shoot outside of 5 or 10 feet because that's where most encounters that may require a firearm take place? That is absolute baloney. You need to be able to competently shoot well at distances that are far greater than 10 feet or less. And there are many circumstances that require this, many. So be careful about that, which leads me to my final point for now. Tiny little guns that are comfortable to carry are great for that purpose. Comfortable carry. But you're not going to be able to shoot them with any real degree of accuracy, or at least not the accuracy required to ensure you don't errantly hurt someone else. This is exactly why you don't see cops carrying little tiny short barreled concealed carry firearms. They carry full size firearms that are far more accurate at distances. Buy a little tiny comfortable carry gun without incredible skills and proficiency, and you're not going to carry it. Nor should you, because when you learn to shoot it, even if you do that, you won't hit anything, even under the best conditions, and you'll end up being very frustrated. So until you're very, very good with firearms, start with a full-size pistol. There are plenty of comfortable ways to carry them. Oh, and one more thing, and this is common, even if you are proficient with firearms, never carry a new firearm without shooting it first to ensure that the sights are on and that it functions properly. This may seem obvious, but trust me, it's not. There's much more to this, but the takeaway from this video is this: think twice before carrying or using a gun for self-defense. I want to emphasize the importance of subscribing to and supporting this channel, which is the primary source of information needed to advance this security revolution by staying engaged. How? Watch every video in its entirety, like them, comment, and most of all, get others in by sharing as much of this as possible with those you love and care about, and invite others to join. Person by person, we can beat threats and victimization by those who create them. Oh, and turn on your notification bell so that you know immediately when we upload new content. See you next time.